I have a last question. I'm sorry to take all this time, but
No, all
it's
good.
been so good, honestly. I'm very happy. Do you have any final advice that you would like to give? So try to think that you are talking to someone that you are really searching for, like a role you have, that you need someone that is very specific. And like, do you have any advice for a person to how to show up? Or I don't know, maybe we already talked about that, but how the recruiter can find this person and can like this person even if it's a very specific one, or if it's a specific role that you need, how much percent of that role the requirements you have to achieve to be part of the interview. Because this is something very important. Sometimes the recruiters, they list all the tools that someone in the tech team is listing, but sometimes they are not even using that, right? How do you know which is important to know? And
Good question. I think this is a harder question to answer because every company is very specific and it depends on the company. For instance, if you're dealing with applying to directly to the company itself, I would say that the years of experience may not be super relevant in the sense of if they're asking for 6 years and you have 5, I would still apply,
Mhm.
right? That aspect. And you could kind of tell sometimes, for instance, if it talks about if they're a JavaScript shop, you can see by the job description, you know that they're using JavaScript related tool, and then somewhere there it says must have testing tools such as JavaScript, Nightwatch, Jest, Cypress, Protractor, as well as Java, Selenium, PyTest, Python. You can probably assume that the Java, Selenium, PyTest is not relevant because you could assume that they're using some sort of JavaScript testing tool,
Perfect.
right? It's that's based on experience. Usually, you can get there. A junior person wouldn't be able to tell that. If you're applying through a consulting firm, so how consulting firms work is they hire you full time, and their job description is based on the end client's job description.
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, their requirements are more firm. So their job is to filter, and then they need to send it to the client. They almost fill out a matrix. What I mean by that is that they're if it says 8 years, they might really be looking for 8 years, and they might not consider you if it doesn't say 8 years on your resume, right?
Okay.
Because their job is to filter and then send it to the end client, which is more like pickier essentially, right? But if you're just going and applying, I would just apply rough 1 or 2 years there and back. 6 to 8 years is fine. Even if they don't accept it, I would still apply. A lot of times these days it says 8 to 10 years of experience. Honestly, not that many people have that experience, but not that many people have modern, like everything has changed in the last 10 years. Testing tools, they've
Yeah.
all changed in the last 10 years. So it doesn't matter if you're 10 years of experience, you definitely didn't use any of the modern JavaScript testing tools, any of the mobile testing tools, right?
Perfect.
React Native wasn't around, so it's less relevant, right? So kind of, I guess, using some common sense. If you're a 1 year experience, likely don't go for 8+ years experience, but the more junior 1 to 3 years, stick to applying to those. The 3 to 6 years, stick to that, or the 5 to 8 years, like a couple of years back and forth, I think is fine.